Live 3 miles apart on the Lawrence Corridor in Chicago, it's
Semi-Regular Sundays!
It's our 66th remote show with our special guest, Maria Wojciechowski, plus Georgia Gove and Abi Marin. And now, as seen on Emily and Perry, Flower Shop Hangers.
Woohoo!
Live 3 miles apart on the Lawrence
Hello.
Corridor in Chicago.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you. It's been a very productive weekend.
That's good. That's good. You know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of been a productive weekend. I've seen a lot of people and done some, stuff, but also, I don't know. Today was super lazy for me. I just kind of laid around. It's actually kind of nice.
That's probably what I'm going to do next weekend. I don't really have any concrete Thanksgiving plans. I'm probably just going to hang out at my sister's house.
Yeah, and that works.
Yeah. Probably just watch a couple of mediocre football games.
Sure. There you go. I mean, truth be told, the Lions play on Thanksgiving.
And they're playing a Houston team that also has a losing record.
Gotcha. So, I mean, they are the ones that started that tradition. I understand it, but also, they kind of suck.
They've been sucking for 6 decades.
Yeah. So,
yeah. But it's tradition, it's almost like the city of Detroit makes it like a holiday for them. Yeah. So I'm not going to fight that. And then you've got Cowboys playing Washington, and there's nothing of consequence there. And then I think the Chiefs have played the late game, but I digress. We have a really wonderful comedy show for you tonight. For those of you who do not know, Dan and myself, we are Flower Shop Bangers. We are an improv duo based out of Chicago. We have been performing together for about 7.5 years.
Yep.
And we have been performing, or I should say, hosting and producing Zoom comedy shows for free on Facebook Live and YouTube Live every Sunday and Wednesday night since pretty much when the pandemic started. And we've been numbering all of our shows for no discernible reason. So we have a really jam-packed show for you this evening. But before we introduce any of our acts, Dan, if you could say a few words about some of the fundraisers that we're supporting, as well as some of the small businesses that we are trying to bring attention to.
Sure. So like Stuart said, if you look below, you'll see a little banner. It has kind of a rotating bit of images and such. So there are a couple things we thought we would, try to bring your attention to. One, there's a GoFundMe organized by the comedian Chris Red. Chris Red is trying to raise money for people who are out protesting for Black Lives Matter who may have contracted COVID-19. He's trying to help cover their medical costs. You can find the link to the GoFundMe in the description to this event. Second, there is the bar that Stuart and I usually host this show at. It is called Shakers on Clark. Shakers on Clark is a really great bar in Wrigleyville. Has some really great long list of Long Island iced tea flavors. And right now they are trying to raise money to help tip their bar staff so that their bar staff can still be paid. So if you were at home and you were enjoying a beverage, maybe you can give the money that you would have given to a bar for that beverage to Shakers. Third, there is a gym. They unfortunately recently had to close down again in Chicago, but they are still, they had to shut down their normal class schedule, but they are still having kind of an open gym kind of situation where, they are limiting the number of people to 15, or not 15, 6 people. I think it was $15 to book that hour or something. But anyway, yeah, so they're doing that. They're called Bodi Shak. It's also a great Black-owned business in Chicago, in Uptown. And last and certainly not least, there is a great coffee and tea shop in Chicago called First Sip Cafe. First Sip Cafe is in the Asia on Argyle community, and I have a link in the description to get gift cards from there. If any of these also aren't local to you, I really recommend that you go out and you support your own local businesses. Some are apparently even offering to make you Thanksgiving dinner this year. So a lot of them are struggling. Yeah, back to you, Stuart.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan. So this is probably going to be one of our shorter shows, but nevertheless, a very entertaining show. We believe in, we here at Semi-Regular Sundays believe in quality over quantity. Obviously, closing out the night are your co-hosts and co-producers, Flower Shop Bangers.
Woo!
We'll be doing a 15-minute improv set. Immediately preceding the Bangers, we are welcome back to our program, a phenomenal multi-hyphenate talent, She sings, she improvises, she acts, she plays the accordion, she's a quadruple threat, she dances. Maria Wojciechowski is here.
Woo!
Right before Wojo, we have our friend in Chicago, by way of New Jersey, Georgia Gove.
Woo!
And leading us off this evening is a comic originally from Brooklyn, presently based in Manhattan. Please welcome Abi Marin.
I am a pizza. I am a pizza. With extra cheese. With extra cheese. From tomatoes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abi Marin. I just like to thank Dan and Stuart for having me this evening. But yes, in the spirit of, by the way, this is my mic, if anyone is wondering. If John Mulaney can host SNL and have a mic during his opening monologue, I will hold a comb during this. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving coming up, I thought it was only appropriate to talk about family during this short 10 minutes that I have. Particularly, I'd like to shed light on my lovely mother. My mom, I love her very much, but we have a very interesting relationship. My mom is she's an immigrant. She is originally born in Guyana. But she's of Indian heritage, so she's brown, if you will. But she, weirdly enough, is a major Trump supporter, which is weird because I am from Brooklyn, New York. Just to shed light on like who she is, she recently called me to tell me, in the spirit of the election that just happened, told me that voter fraud happened because she was trying to get my younger disabled sister to vote Republican, and said that they didn't let her vote because she was registered Republican and not Democrat. And I was just like, Mom, you can't vote for a disabled child, even though she is 18. That's not okay. And she did not see anything wrong with that. But that being said, my lovely mother, who is not Jewish, attends synagogue because her ex-husband, my father, is Jewish, you see. So the Brooklyn synagogues are doing like a really nice thing recently where they've had the three big Brooklyn synagogues, Union Temple, which used to be my former temple that I used to go to when I was a kid, Beth Elohim, and this other one that I don't remember the name of, but they're doing all these like Zoom temple things together because they can't be together. Like we're doing a Zoom comedy show tonight. And so they're doing a Yom Kippur service, and my mom logs in, and she doesn't really know what Zoom works like. So she logs in, everything's fine, but she accidentally kept her camera on, which was, she didn't want anyone to see her because lo and behold, my mother was naked when she logged in to her Zoom meeting for religious practices. To make matters worse, she did not realize that her mic and her video were on. So while she was sitting there and going, do, 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 the rabbi just sort of had to hold it together. I don't know if anyone saw anything or if anyone heard anything, but you know, a few hours later in the middle of my day, I don't know what I was doing. I was probably taking a nap as one does, but my mom called me in a hurry saying, Abigail, I ruined the synagogue. I ruined the Zoom. You need to fix this for me because they recorded it and it's somewhere on the internet. And I'm like, Mom, just because I'm in my early 20s does not mean that I know how to fix the internet. I don't know anything. That's kind of what 23 means. You don't know anything. It's just, she was just like, okay. And, you know, she did warn me earlier when she did told me this. She said, Abby, I know that I do not support this comedian thing, but please do not use this as a bit. So lo and behold, I have it as a bit. Do it, just having this is my first thing to talk about tonight. Another thing that's going on right now, I've been nannying a little bit for this family in Queens recently, and they have a very interesting family as well. They've been going through, this family's been going through a separation, which is a little sad. But there's some pretty interesting characters in this family. So the kids go every other week between the two parents. So I work with both parents, but the dad is pretty interesting. The dad actually is from Chicago. So shout out to Chicago. He's like, weirdly ashamed of the fact that he's white for some reason. He's told me that, I don't know how it came up, but we were just talking one day and he was like, don't call me white, that's an insult. And I was very, very like confused because he was talking to me about like my Indian heritage, and he just turned to his son and he just went, Tyrone, honey, don't ever let anyone call you white, because that's an insult. And I was just completely, utterly, just astonished. But during my nannying escapades, there was one time where I was throwing the football with one of the kids I was babysitting, and I was so accomplished. I threw a football really well as someone who is not athletically capable, I would say. I threw a football really, really well, and I was really, really proud because I threw it straight, I threw it hard, and it nailed a kid right in the face. That kid was 2, and he proceeded to cry, then I proceeded to cry, and then the rest of the kids around me proceeded to cry. Because apparently crying is contagious when a child and adults do it. It's just very weird. I'm sorry. How much time do I have left?
About 4 more minutes.
4 more minutes. Cool. Going back to, wow, I took less time than I thought I would. That's lovely. Going back to like my mom, earlier this coronavirus season, my mom had what I quote unquote would call coronaspiracies, is what I coined it. She called me in frantic agony, just telling me that I needed to buy Lysol wipes to disinfect the mail, but then I also needed Lysol wipes to disinfect my Lysol wipes. So then I needed to buy more Lysol wipes to disinfect those Lysol wipes, and I was very confused. My mom also told me that the virus was man-made somehow, which made no sense to me, because why? Just why? That's stupid. Why? My mom also told me that in Australia, that they discovered that coronavirus could be transmitted between people through farts. So she told me not to go near anyone who was eating beans. And I said, thank you, because I'm vegetarian, so I am eating beans. Yeah, but maybe I should talk a little bit more about myself. I'm from Brooklyn. So my parents, my mom, as I spoke about, she's Indian. My dad is an Orthodox Jew, and that resulted into a very confusing, very confusing identity crisis, because I went to Hebrew school as a kid. As I said, I went to synagogue as a kid, And I would go to synagogue every day, and they would tell me to not pray to idols and that there is only one God. And that was pretty straightforward to me. But then I would go home and there was an altar in my room, and my mom would be telling me to pray to the statues of the many gods. So that was fun. I told everyone, instead of that I was Jewish or Hindu, I said that I was a Hindu, which was, I don't know. I'm just a confused bubble, honestly. That's just my entire personality, is that I'm a confused bubble. Yeah, but I think that will be all for tonight. Thank you, and yes.
Happy Marin, everyone! Thank you so much, Abby.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. And going back to something you had discussed before the show, you survived COVID.
I did survive COVID. I had COVID back in April, and I'm still living.
That's awesome. I made sure to turn off the music because I just felt like if it was I Am a Pizza was going to be playing while you were discussing your brush with death, I just thought it would come off as awkward or morbid.
Yeah, I mean, it's how I cope with things, you know.
Fair, that's fair.
You eat pizza, you laugh. Tis the world.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Abby, and we hope you're doing well out in Manhattan.
Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you. So before we get to our next act, we have a couple pieces of business. So when Dan and I were hosting this show at Shakers in Lakeview until 8 months ago, we tried to incorporate crowd interaction into our show. And the best way we can really do that in 2020 is check in with our Facebook Live audience to see if anyone has any questions or comments, or anyone who's really just looking for a shout out. Dan, how's the live feed looking right now?
I mean, it looks good. I see there are people watching. I don't see anyone individually because I don't see a lot of likes or comments, but I see that the numbers are good. I do see that I can't see who they are, but I do see some people did like our YouTube feed. So thank you for that. Unfortunately, yeah. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's watching, and we hope you keep watching.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So when Dan and I moved our show to Shakers on Clark in July 2018, we began a two-man campaign to save Chicago Barprov. So a very short, somewhat irrelevant history lesson. Back in the early and mid 2010s, there were barprov shows or bar improv shows in pretty much all over the north side of Chicago. Dan and I first cut our teeth at the Underground Lounge in Wrigleyville. But there used to be shows at venues like Mullins, AJ Hudson's, the Crocodile Lounge. I'm kind of blanking on some of the other bars that used to have shows, Jerry Sandwiches.
Horseshoe.
The Horseshoe. Yeah, the Horseshoe in North Center. I think the Publican had a show too, at least for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not the Publican, the Atlantic. I believe it's called the Atlantic. It's like 5,000 block of Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Well, I digress. And this was something that was thriving for a number of years. And then one by one, these shows started getting canceled. Bars started going out of business. People just, in general, just started moving in a different direction. So when Dan and I landed at Shakers 3 summers ago, the very concept of barprov and seeing free comedy in a bar while you're getting shit-faced was pretty much had its back against the wall. So we kind of made it we kind of put it on ourselves to kind of be kind of the tent pole for the very concept of barprov. As an incentive for Saving Chicago Barprov, we have had this improv tip jar at almost all of our shows. Yes, there is cash and change inside this tip jar. I designed it myself. It's duct tape and Sharpie. Mm-hmm. And it's not only an opportunity to promote the concept of barprov, but it's our way of giving back to the performers. And this evening in our tip jar, we have $7.50, which means split 5 ways. All our performers tonight are going home with $1.50.
Woo!
We did not tell any of our performers that this was a paying gig. So if you would like to support the show and support all of our performers this evening, my Venmo and Dan's Venmo are both above me right now.
Mhm.
It is above me, right, Dan? Right,
Yeah,
Dan?
yeah, it is above you actually.
Okay,
It's
just
right
wanna
above
make sure
you.
it's moving it on me. So I'm not expecting anyone to throw money at my third story apartment in Ravenswood Manor. Dan is not expecting anyone to throw money at him from his third story apartment in Uptown.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you're enjoying the show tonight, please throw a little change at us at either my Venmo or on Dan's Venmo.
Mhm.
Without further ado, our next comedian is originally from Trenton, New Jersey, and is now presently based here in Chicago. This is the third time that we've had her in our remote show. Just an absolutely delightful and insightful person. Please welcome back Georgia Gove.
Hello. How's it going, y'all? I don't know if y'all can hear me over the music. I think it just cut out, so we're good. I like most people have gained weight during COVID. Gained a lot of snack weight. I've got major snack bod right now. I'm back working, a job in front of people, and none of my pants fit anymore, which is very fun. And I made the mistake of looking back at old photos of myself, like from a few summers ago when I went through a breakup and was very skinny. I had sad bod, and I would really like to get back to sad bod, like I don't want the sadness. I don't want to be sad, but I definitely want the sad bod back. Okay. Like I was at Riot Fest. I was looking hot. Like I was wearing a crop top and not regretting all my life choices, except for dating somebody for 3 years. But that aside, I was having a great time, and I really want to get back to that. But I don't know how to do that without sadness, because happy Georgia eats, which is probably a good thing. It's probably a great thing, except for my the way I look in the mirror to myself. Not I want to get back to sad bod. This is going to be a controversial statement, I know, for a lot of people. So, like, unbunch your panties now. But the first few months of quarantine were really great for me. Okay. Like they were my first few months of quarantine, I was having a great time. All right. Like I planted a garden from seed, like I was baking all the time. I was cross stitching a bunch, like basically I retired. And here's the thing, millennials, I think that like the first few months of quarantine, that was all we get for retirement, because by the time our parents die, like there ain't gonna be no more Social Security, okay? That shit's gonna be wiped out. So we got $1,200 from the government to sit down for 3 months, and that's all the retirement we get. From now on out, it's like it's either we die in the revolution, okay, viva, or we keel over at 85 working the rush at Starbucks. Like that's our life now. Okay. We don't get a retirement. This was our retirement. So I hope you did something fun with it. I hope you had a real good time. All right. That's what we get. But truly, like I'm very proud of myself for planning a garden from seed. I've never done that before. Like I planted tomatoes, I planted a bunch of herbs. I was so excited, and I feel like these plants really mirrored my quarantine experience, right? It really mirrored my quarantine journey because I planted these seeds in the ground in March, and they had so much potential, like that anything could happen with these seeds. I was going to make so many marinara sauces with all of these tomatoes I was going to have, I was like I was planning out my life. And then by August, all I had was 9 measly tomatoes. 9. That's not enough for one marinara sauce, okay? That is not one marinara sauce enough of tomatoes, okay? That is not a lot of tomatoes. That's like working out for 5 straight months every day and only getting 1 ab. All right, that's bullshit. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all for all the work I put in. And it truly did mirror my quarantine experience, because at the beginning, like, there was so much potential, right? Like, I was like drinking water, like so much water. I was doing like a gallon of water a day. Okay. Like I was journaling every day. I was really like working on myself. I was going to write a 1-woman show, you know? And then it's truly, it's like I went to Hawaii on vacation, and I was like, I'm not going to look at screens the entire time I'm there. I'm never going to look at a screen while I'm in Hawaii. I'm in Hawaii, guys. Like, this is my life now. I'm going to be in the moment. And like 3 days later, I'm watching HGTV and answering work emails. You know, like that's what quarantine was like. Truly, by you know what, this time in quarantine, what I have, but not anymore, because I ate them, is 9 measly tomatoes. All right. And not even a fucking single ab. Not even one. I didn't get one ab. I got less than an ab. I actively moved backwards from an ab. So very fun, very cool. Plants, I think plants in general are a good like monitor of my mental health, right? Because I buy all these plants, and I'm like, at the beginning, I'm like watering them. I'm really taking care of these plants. And like when my plants are like lush and green and beautiful and taken care of, that's me, you know. I'm doing yoga, I'm journaling, I'm eating vegetables, you know. Like I'm taking myself out to a date at an art museum to get inspired by visual art, you know, like that's the vibe that I'm going for. If my plants start to get really brown and kind of like look like they've been forgotten for like a week or so, that's me too. You know, I'm eating nothing but Cheez-Its and boxed wine and crying because somebody I don't like gets more likes than me on Instagram, you know? Like that's the vibe that's happening internally. And if my plants are dead, maybe do a welfare check. Maybe call somebody, check in on me, make sure I'm okay. Unless it's fall, and then that's the vibe. You know, death is the vibe in fall. Speaking of death, which is a great transition. Let's not, you know, let's talk about how great that transition was. Speaking of death, I have a dead dad. But I guess I don't so much have a dead dad as I have ashes in my closet. So, and I know, like, I know, like, why am I keeping my dad's ashes in the closet? Like, that feels disrespectful, right? But I don't know, where would you keep them? I can't put them in the living room. That's for the living, all right? That's not for, they don't call it the dead room. It's not the place for the dead, all right? That's for living people. Sorry, Dad. You don't fit with the aesthetic, all right? I'm going for vintage, not literally dead. But I do. I have my dad's ashes in the closet, and I do have a plan to spread them, which is traditional to do with ashes. You know, you spread them in a place that they would have loved to be. And here's the thing: I have a really beautiful plan because I was 15 when my dad died. You know. And I just want to, if everyone's butthole is like tightened up because I'm talking about dead dads, here's the thing. I know you don't want to think about your dad's dying either, but like, listen, at some point y'all are going to join my club and we're all going to be in this together. So like, just remember that for a minute and unclench the butthole. All right. Let's have some fun. I'm okay. You're okay. We're all okay. But so I do have a beautiful plan. My dad died when I was like 15, and I was neither legally nor emotionally available to make any sort of decisions about what happened with my dad's ashes at that time, right? And so my mom came up with what seemed like a really beautiful plan at the time, which is to spread my dad's ashes on all 7 continents. Really gorgeous. He loved to travel. I love to travel. It seems like a good idea, right? Except now I have a baggie of ashes in my closet labeled Antarctica. So now I have to go to Antarctica to spread my dad's ashes. And I don't think they even let you go to Antarctica, let alone go to Antarctica to spread ashes in Antarctica. I don't think that's a thing you're allowed to do. So here's the thing. Now I have to become a climate scientist so that I can smuggle my dad's ashes onto a boat to go study, I don't know, cores of ice in Antarctica. And then, I don't know, when I'm coring something out of the earth, like pour my dad's ashes down there. I don't know, some place where they won't be noticed, like maybe on a penguin. There's not a whole lot of black out there, you know? I feel like his ashes are really gonna stand out like a stain on a white tablecloth, you know? So that's the hijink I have to get into. But my dad. So more about my dad. He made me a weird kid, and I'm kind of pivoting from my dad to myself, but I'm blaming him for my lack of friends growing up. Because here's the thing, he packed me milk bones for school as a snack. And if you don't know what milk bones are, they are a mid-range dog treat. So my dad packed me dog treats to take to school with me. He wanted me to not have friends. That's the thing. He wanted me to not ever have friends, you know? I was a weird kid in school. I've always been kind of a weird kid. And I was so weird that the anime kids wouldn't sit with me, you know? Like they were like, your weirdness is over 9,000. You can't sit with us. And if you don't know that reference, maybe watch some Dragon Ball Z and then you can exclude me too. Okay. I think the weirdest, the biggest like telltale sign of my weirdness, there's words that I'm looking for that my brain has flown out the window. But I think the biggest like, point of my weirdness was my Halloween costumes, right? One of my Halloween costumes was a 3-headed demon. And this was in like 5th grade when like people had crushes and were like trying to be cute, you know? And I was like, no, I'm gonna go for horrifying, okay? And here, my dad like built me this like amazing costume. He built like this like harness that had like 2 mask heads on it. And I looked really horrifying. Like we did a great job. Another one of my costumes was an anatomically correct butterfly, which sounds really cute until you picture little 8-year-old me with stockings, with 8 stockings stuffed with cotton in the front of me. Okay. Like I looked like Predator. I looked like an alien was actively bursting out of my body. But I think my weirdest costume was one year I wanted to be my own dog, not a dog, not just a random dog. I wanted to be my own dog. And again, you think that could be cute, right? I made a paper mache head. We made a mascot costume for me to be my own dog. It's like my dog was Air Bud, you know, except she was just a fucking dog. All right. We had a real wagging tail. Like it's almost like my dad knew something about my sexuality that I didn't know, you know, like that's the vibe that it was. Okay. Maybe we skip that tag. Maybe we don't like that tag. Maybe we don't like that tag about me being a furry, and we'll scratch that from the set. All right. Anyway, I think that's all I got. But I forgot to bring this up as a plug. But I have a podcast called Musically Illiterate. So if you wanna listen to more of my weirdness, please check that out. It's on everywhere where you get podcasts. So hell yeah. All right, back to you guys.
Georgia Gove, everyone. Thank you so much, Georgia, and please make sure to check out that podcast. It's actually really delightful. All right, Dan, any updates?
Sure. So I do see some people that we can give shout outs to now. One is Isabella Popbell Green. Not sure who that is, but she left us a comment on YouTube, and I stalked her YouTube channel a little bit, and it looks like she has a nice makeup channel. Yeah, and then I also see that some people are watching. That includes Mitch Kessler, one of our teammates at One Group Mind, as well as a former performer that we have had in the show before, Marjorie Preston. And Marjorie wants to know, is a milk bone tasty?
They are bland, from what I remember.
There, yeah. There's your answer.
All right.
Hard to ask, I would say.
I will keep that in mind. I would imagine it's something you have to kind of like dip in milk. It looks like something that's like super crunchy. It's like something where it's like a scone or a biscotti where you have to just like it's like super hard, but it tastes better if you like dunk it in something.
Yeah, they are meant for dog teeth. You know, like it's for like canine tooth health. So they're not meant for children.
Fair enough. I will not feed it to my children then. Thank you, Georgia. I will keep that in mind. So as I mentioned on Facebook, this is our last show before Thanksgiving. We are actually going to be taking this coming Wednesday and next Sunday off, but we'll be back on Wednesday, December 2nd, where our special guest will be Steve Darnell. Steve Darnell is the host of Those Are the Days, which is a long-running radio show here in Chicago that focuses on the golden age of radio. He is also the publisher of a quarterly magazine tied to Those Are the Days called Nostalgia Digest. We'll be talking about old-time radio and how he's had to adjust his radio show during the pandemic. The show on a week from Wednesday will also be chock full of improv, courtesy of the Laser Comedy Show, as well as the Ravens Hollow County Players. So you're in for some very off-kilter improv there, plus stand-up comedy from Alexander Zaropoulos. Without further ado, I met our next act, I want to say in the fall of 2011. She, for some reason, thought I was the bouncer at Underground Lounge and showed me her driver's license. Despite that awkward introduction, we have gone on to be friends, and has gone on to New York, where she has been demonstrating just about a little everything. She's a singer, dancer, actor, improviser. As near as I can tell, goodness, I can't even begin to think what she might also be doing. Maybe cross stitch. Maybe she's a bricklayer. I don't know. Maybe she has a gardening blog. I just so much. It's like I am bound to lose track. Nevertheless, it is a pleasure to welcome back to our show, Maria Wojciechowski.
Hello, thank you, Stuart. Thanks for that nice introduction. If you're a guy standing by the door, I am going to give you my ID. That's just what I'm gonna do. Like, what are you doing standing by the door in an empty bar? This is an underground lounge for any Chicago people. There's like nobody at the bar.
Wrong place, wrong time.
What's that?
I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It was a very hilarious introduction. I knew you were going there. I was like, oh God. I will show you what I've been up to, because you're saying I like to do a lot of random stuff. So like Georgia was saying, I have also gained a lot of weight in quarantine. I used to weigh 7.5 pounds. Okay, so you can imagine how much weight that is. But my new thing is making costumes for my American Girl dolls. You can see I have Addie is Red from Us, and then we got Georgie from It, and then now we're going into Christmas here with Elf. And then we got some more Christmas. We got Cousin Eddie going right here. And then this is just a costume that I had for Kirsten when I was a child. So I just put that back on. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's quite unnerving. I am in my 30s, and no, I do not have children. So it's very unnerving. People are like, don't talk about the weight you've gained. It's rude to talk about weight, but no one wants to hear about that. So we're going to talk about the weight. I think, to me, 2020 has been not great, but 2019 was like way worse for me. My boyfriend and I, we were living in Brooklyn, and our house burnt down. Our house caught on fire. And it was because the crack house next door, was set aflame. No one tells you not to move into an abandoned crack house, but we did. The rent was cheap. And we woke up at 4 a.m. Our fire alarm was going off, and we had to run outside. What they don't tell you when a fire happens in real life is that your smoke alarm is going to be way too chill. Our smoke alarm, I swear to God, was going, there is a fire, over and over and over again. But whenever there's not a fire, the smoke alarm's like, are you cooking bacon? We've got to tell your neighbors. But when there's a fire, the smoke alarm's like, I've been Ira Glass. So it was hard. So 2020 now for us just feels like the logical sequel to 2019. It was just like, first they were homeless for 2 months. Now they're home for 2 months. It's quarantine. I don't know. It's been tough. We had a really tough time. We were homeless for 2 months. We were like couch surfing with friends, and it was a nightmare. The stress of everything, we almost broke up because of it. And I was so upset about our breakup that I went back to church. You ever been that sad? I went back to church just so I could be around other people, like other people who were also waiting for a man to come back. And oh boy, thank God mine did. All right. 3 days later, can you believe? If you don't think that's funny, maybe it's because you do believe. And honestly, in these trying times, God bless you. If you believe in Jesus, can I get a hell yeah? Okay, just kidding. I was quarantining in New York, and it's hard to quarantine in the cities. I'm sure Chicago kind of has, depending on where you live, the same feel, because you don't have a backyard, and that's a nightmare. Like, that is a total nightmare. You're stuck inside all the time. I didn't have a yard, but I did break my razor first day of quarantine, so I had an amazing bush. That really got me through not having a backyard. I've been doing a lot of yoga during quarantine. And it's true what they say about yoga. Actually, I was putting it off for so long, but it is true what they say. If you do yoga every day, you will turn into a white woman. I was Latino at the beginning of this, a Latin man. Let's see. I have all this about American Girl dolls. I will say this about my Felicity American Girl doll. Okay, so that Felicity doll is an original Felicity. I got it off of eBay. I checked all of her stats. She's an original from the 90s, right? She was only $40, okay? She shouldn't be $40. And now I'm like, is she haunted? Like, I have lost sleep over this redheaded doll that I own. I've lost sleep over it. She's gonna murder me. I have been doing that little project, and none of my friends have checked on my mental health, and that's how I know I don't have real friends. I'm alone in this world. Nobody has checked on me. I started an Instagram for them, if you want to follow it. It's called Creepy American Girls, and nobody has checked in. So my dad does check in on me a lot, but I think most of it's just to see if I've been proposed to yet. My dad really hates that my boyfriend and I live together and we're not married. And I'm like, well, Father, that makes two of us. Thank you. It's not my fault that I'm not engaged. My boyfriend doesn't believe in marriage. And I'm like, well, honey, it's real. Okay. A real thing that happens. And he's like, well, it's just a piece of paper. And it's like, well, so is your PhD in philosophy. And you don't see me dismantling that. Okay. He doesn't have a PhD in philosophy. That was a lie. I just thought it was a funny joke. But he does have a bachelor's degree in music. So maybe I'll just say a real thing, because that's just worthless. Let's see. My mom loves my boyfriend a lot. When she first met him, she's like, oh my God, Maria, he has the most, my mom, we're from the South. She's like, what if my mom's from like Alaska and I'm just giving her, she's like a Southern woman for no reason. Anyway, we're from Alabama originally, but moving on. My mom's like, Maria, he has the most beautiful green eyes, and they complement your green eyes. I'm like, oh, Mom, my eyes are blue. Okay. I hope I never become a missing person. Like, my mom goes to the police. They ask her to describe me, and my mom's like, well, she had a nose. I'm so sorry. That's my other daughter. My other daughter has a nose. No, Maria has a tail. That's my dog. Oh my God, what did she look like? And they'd be like, calm down. Just tell us, what was Maria wearing? And my mom would be like, well, she wasn't wearing lipstick. I can tell you that. Let's see here. Like I said, I'm from Alabama. My boyfriend's also from the South, which is great. I'm from Alabama. He's from Argentina. So we have a lot in common culturally, which is amazing. He's very hot. He's like soccer hot. I swear to God. If he ate a piece of raw chicken, he would poop it out cooked. Okay. That's how hot he is, which is perfect for me because my normal body temperature is like, I'll never let go, Jack. So I'm pretty happy about he runs warm is what I'm saying. I wrote grief, but he's hot, but I don't know what that meant. This is a note from a month ago, but we'll keep going. Well, I'm happy to be in my relationship, even though it's not the easiest thing in the world right now, but I am happy to be in my relationship. I was like talking to some friends who are single during the pandemic and they're having to go on like Skype Zoom dates or whatever. And that's awful because I definitely was long distance for a while. I know how awkward it is to like masturbate on camera where you're just like, what are we? And then the computer freezes, so you're like, well, the guy and I broke up. I can't remember the tag, but we'll just keep moving from that. I will say this last thing is, oh, actually, I wanted to talk about this. Abby was talking about Orthodox Jewish synagogues and Trump voters. And my old dentist in Brooklyn was an Orthodox Jewish man. And one time he was fixing my teeth. No gloves, okay? No gloves. I quit going to him after he stuck his hands in my mouth, which was disgusting. But he had his hands in my mouth, no gloves, hairy fingers, and then starts talking about how he thinks Trump is doing a great job. And I'm just like, oh God, this is a nightmare. Anyway, I have to get going, but I did want to just like say that little piece real quick because that was truly that was more traumatic than the fire for me. that was rough. Thank you, Stuart, for having me. Thank you, Daniel. See y'all later.
Maria Wojciechowski, everyone.
Woo!
All right, thank you so much, Wojo, and I'm glad you're doing well after all the adversity you've had over the last couple of years. I just want to say thank you to Maria and to Abby and to Georgia tonight. We sincerely appreciate that you're able to make this show, and also want to just thank our audience because we really can't do the show without you either. So before we get to our final act, Dan, just do we have one more check-in? Do we have anyone else who's chimed in? Any hemming and hawing on the Facebook Live feed?
I see Marjorie Preston again saying New York City rent is no joke. Responding to something I'm sure Maria said. But I also thought I would say to everyone watching tonight, if you are enjoying tonight's show and you want to maybe watch it when we come back in December, you can either like the Flower Shop Bangers on Facebook or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Either one will allow you to keep up with our show and find out which one is next. We do this every Sunday and every Wednesday, but we're taking the Thanksgiving holiday off. So.
Yep. And also, if you have missed any part of this show this evening, those will be archived on the Flower Shop Bangers Facebook page right after the show ends, which at this rate will probably be at about 5 after 8, 10 after 8 Chicago time. Without further ado, before I forget, the improv tip jar still hanging tight at $1.50 for each of our performers this evening. Your final act of the evening are the co-hosts and co-producers of Semi-Regular Sundays, who until about 8 months ago were hosting the show at Shakers on Clark at near the intersection of Berry and Clark. They have performed in improv festivals in cities as far-flung as Omaha, Nebraska, St. Louis, Missouri, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Baltimore, Maryland. They also performed in the Yippee Fest Virtual Arts Festival right here in Chicago, quote unquote, this past August. Please welcome to the stage, Flower Shop Bangers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I would point your attention right to above, where we have Stuart and my Venmos up yet again. This will be up for the duration of our set. If you happen to want to contribute to the improv tip jar to try to help the performers, that perform tonight, to help them get some money. But we are the Flower Shop Bangers. We are going to do some improv for you, and we get weird with it. Slow down, man.
Okay.
Slow down.
Right, fine. I mean, this is just really intense for me.
I gotcha. It's intense. You know, it's a little intense for me too, but just, you know.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
Oof, jeez Louise. I mean, you almost sound like you're in pain.
oh God. I mean, I can't remember the last time I did anything this over the top. I mean, oh my God. I mean, ugh.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you sure you're okay? Like, I don't know. You almost sound like you're like, I don't know, having a stress panic attack or something. I don't.
I mean, okay. I mean, I get it. I mean, we're in a maternity ward.
Yeah.
I mean, I only have you here because you're my dear friend.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of down the seconds here. I mean, she's at 2 centimeters. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is really happening.
It is really happening. Yeah. No, I got you. You're gonna be a father. I get it.
Yeah, I know.
You know me. I got 3 of my own, and first one is always the most exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, you're my quote unquote dad coach.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Everything, all the trips that we've made to Bye Bye Baby.
Yeah.
And The Kids Are Us, and all the stuff we bought on Amazon, and
Yep.
poetry and everything. And it's like I feel like we're physically ready,
Mhm.
but it's like emotionally I'm not.
You're ready.
Okay.
You're ready. Don't start saying you're not ready when you're clearly you're just having a little episode, you know?
Yeah.
These things aren't signs that, you're not ready to, I don't know, to be a dad. That's not a sign of that. That's just a sign you sometimes get a little too worried.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, you've been here with me the whole way. I mean, it's just like, because you've been here 3 times before. I mean, you've been in this maternity ward.
Yeah,
3 times before.
All 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not even technically family, but they even let you in here, which is just amazing. I mean, this is maybe the most lax maternity ward I've ever been in.
Yeah, it is. They're.
Oh, good. We don't even know what the gender of the baby is.
So?
Yeah, and people keep asking us, are you going to have like one of those like gender reveal parties? And I'm just like, no, because I don't want to burn down half the city.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
And also, you should just not have one.
Yeah, exactly. Gender is a social construct.
Yes, it is.
We want to have a woke baby.
Oh yeah, no, those I think are the best kind of babies, the woke babies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's we already bought her like an anti 1% onesie.
So I will be honest with you. And being someone who's been a dad for a little while, babies that are asleep are also kind of nice.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when they go to sleep, They tend to cry a lot. They tend to poop a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they tend to keep you up at night, late at night, and all hours of the night. Get ready to not get a lot of sleep is what I'm saying,
Oh yeah, the Dr. Spock book said to prepare for that.
The Dr. Spock book?
Dr. Spock, he wrote that parenting book back in the 40s.
Like Spock, like from Star Trek, he wrote a parenting book? Like Leonard Nimoy wrote a parenting book.
Spock is named after Dr. Spock.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to double check to make sure it was like this is written by Leonard Nimoy.
For a second, I thought that was a parenting book written by Leonard Nimoy.
I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, I know he had kids.
Actually, Actually, I just Googled it. There is, in fact, a parenting book written by Leonard Nimoy.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah, no, there is.
Holy crap! Wow, parenting the Vulcan way. Interesting.
Yeah, parenting the Vulcan way.
Oh.
I mean, maybe you should have bought that book instead of this one from the 70s by Dr. Spock. You don't know how outdated he is. I feel like Leonard Nimoy would be a bit more forward thinking on these things.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I think Dr. Spock's been dead for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm probably worrying over nothing. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I can hear Julie screaming like 20 feet away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I can't even begin to imagine like the whole physical labor that she's in right now. I mean, I should, I mean, I'm probably making I'm just at a loss for words here
Mm-hmm.
about just, maybe I'm just being a little selfish. Maybe I am. Maybe
Selfish?
I'm just,
How are you being selfish? Explain this one to me.
it just, I mean, because Julie's the one who's been kind of doing the Lord's work here. I mean, she's just, I mean, I can't put into words how much I love her and just how much, just kind of watching her body change and everything. They're
Yeah,
just so
no. I
And-
gotcha. She's carrying the baby. There's no way to change that.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But
You can't blame yourself for things, like putting her through this when you just can't biologically.
Yeah, I mean, and at the same time, it's like, she's the one kind of doing the heavy work here. I mean, she's the one creating another human. She is bringing another
Yeah.
human to this world.
I don't know what to say about that other than life is unfair. And that it sometimes sets people up for just like, doing the bulk of the work, regardless of, what we would like it to be equal, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But truth be told, babies have to be born somehow.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
True. I mean, they're not made in a lab. They don't come out of a cabbage patch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't come out. It'd be nice if they did come out of a cabbage patch. Like, what if the stork was real?
Oh, yeah. It was like my parents couldn't work up the nerve to tell me about how babies were made until I was like 7 or 8.
7 or you got to talk at 7 or 8?
Yeah.
That's early, man.
Yeah. I found like the old Betamax tape of my own birth.
Oh,
Yeah, I just happened to find it. I just happened to find it in the pile. It was like a blank tape, and I put it into the Betamax machine, and I was
wait, was this the birthing process or was this like
like,
sex? Did they give you like the sex
it's
talk
actually
at
a birthing
7 years old?
process.
Birthing process. Okay, that's a little different.
Yeah, like it would just all of a sudden, it would just kind of just see this head, and it just like, oh, and I'm just like, okay. And my mom had to just like stop the tape like immediately, and just said, kind of sit down with me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And she told you that you came out of my stomach. You came out of me.
Yeah.
I imagine you weren't premature, so you probably didn't come out of the stomach, You
Yeah.
came out of the vagina.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I came out at 35 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Pretty touch and go. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't realize you were premature.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, kind of. I mean, I was born at the end of the 8th month. So,
okay.
yeah. I mean, thanks for taking my mind off things too. It just, I can still hear Julie scream.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard her scream like that before. I mean,
she's screaming quite a bit. I know. It's
that's okay. All right. Oh, the app is telling me she's at 3 centimeters. Okay, she's all right.
the app.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, I mean, giving birth in 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like the obstetrician is giving me, there's like an app that tells me, gives me updates.
They're giving you updates on the birth. Wow. That app
Yeah.
must be new. It hasn't, at least it hasn't been here in the last year and a half. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah. It's like, I mean, it just so much has changed since the beginning of last year. Am I right?
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
You're
It's,
telling me.
I mean, iBirth. I mean, lowercase I, capitals B, birth, iBirth. Ah, goodness, this app is incredible.
Wow.
Julie doesn't want me in there, so I'm glad for this app.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
She
know
doesn't
why
want you in there?
she doesn't want me in there. I don't want to trigger her. I don't want to, I'm just kind of giving her space.
Mm-hmm.
She's only been in labor for about 7 hours, but even so, I mean, I just feel
7
like-
hours.
Yeah,
That's a long time. You're saying only 7 hours?
yeah.
That's I
Hey,
mean,
I'm a first-time dad. How the hell am I supposed to know these things?
I don't know, but regardless, being 7 hours for anything doing 7 hours of that is a long time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hell, I mean, that's almost a work day.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that puts things in perspective.
Uh-huh. I mean, think
Yeah.
about that. You gotta, I don't know, like,
I mean, my mom told me it was like when I was born. I think she was in labor for 9.
Wow.
Yeah,
9 hours.
yeah. I think I gave you the whole story. I mean, she used to refer to me as the perfect storm. I mean, I was 5 weeks early.
Mhm.
I was ass backwards, so it had to be a breech. She didn't want it to be a breech.
Oof.
Yeah, yeah. My ass came. I mean, my butt. I mean, my butt came into this world ass first.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Mm,
wow.
mm-hmm. And I was a good 8.5 pounds.
That's pretty big
Yeah,
from what I've heard.
yeah. You know, that's slightly above average for a newborn.
I mean, that's probably way above average for someone who came 5 weeks early.
Mm-hmm.
I would think so. I would expect you to be like 4 pounds then. Maybe
Oh,
I don't know how big babies are all the time. I know, mine were all around the same weight you were, but
mm,
they also were born around the time they were supposed to be.
yeah. My mother's obstetrician called me the Brahma.
The Brahma?
Yeah,
Explain that one. I got
like a giant bull.
a what?
Like a giant bull.
Oh, like is that a name for a giant bull?
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I've never known that otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't know it until you just told me.
Mm-hmm. I guess it goes back into like um, Hinduism, Eastern religion,
Oh, gotcha. Sure.
like
Yeah.
the sacred bull.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I had a very new agey obstetrician.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh God, it's happening again.
What's happening? Do you just hear the screaming, or is it just you having a panic attack, or both, or what?
No, I can't really focus on anything else. It just like I'm just all nerves right now.
I gotcha. And that's natural.
Okay. All right.
I mean, would you expect to not be nervous right now?
I mean, true, very true. I mean, you told me about your first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like again, I wasn't even dating Julie yet when you had your
Mm-hmm.
first kid.
Yeah, no, I know. That was now 6 years
It's
ago.
like I snuck in some beer. You remember that? I mean, I brought I
Dear Lord.
went to the liquor store across the street and picked up some 312. So yeah.
Yeah, no, the nurses were pissed.
Oh my God.
They were
yeah.
so mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's kind of a semi-regular occurrence to try to sneak beer into a hospital, but it's not a good idea.
That one nurse that gave me a funny look 20 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Oh.
She remembers me. She remembers
Same
me.
Same one from
Yeah.
6 years ago when you tried to sneak
Yeah.
beer into my child's birth.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just figured that we had to celebrate somehow.
Yeah.
And that was my default 6 years ago, but I feel like I've evolved since then.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, now you kind of know that you don't bring beer into a hospital.
Oh yeah, and
You might bring, I don't know. Oh, you're not pulling out a flask right now, are you?
it's a boy.
It's a boy?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Well, get in the room, man. What are you doing here?
Okay. Shit, sorry. Okay, just go to the liquor store. I mean, I like Green Line, so
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll go to the liquor store. Go meet your fucking baby.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just wonder, like, why? I mean, I guess take a moment. I guess if you need a moment, but also, like, seriously.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, I'm okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Come back with the beer. All right. I'll see you later.
And that's our show.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to Maria Wojciechowski and to Georgia Gove and Abi Marin. We do this every Sunday, Wednesday night, except on holidays. We'll be back on Wednesday, December 2nd at 7 Central. In the meantime, please wash your hands. Please stay a minimum of 6 feet away from strangers and acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
Believe women. Black Lives Matter.